For this swatch and create, I'm using a couple colors that I just got. So those are the Da Vinci Venetian Red. The color just sounds heavenly. And then Da Vinci Sea Glass. This one seems really bright. It's scaring me already. And then I've got Da Vinci Artemis. I use this in my 100 Days colors. I've got Davies Gray by Holbein, my superhero color. And then I've got my favorite pink, Mission Gold Shell Pink. Now I used these three colors, the Davies Gray, the Artemis, and the Shell Pink, on my 100-day project number 19 and 20, in case you want to see how these work together. They're a really great color combination. I've got random circles over here, and I've got a compass drawn here. So I've got a compass drawn like this on my tag. All I did was take a mechanical pencil and trace it. Don't worry about drawing it, I just traced everything. So you can see here, see the compass drawn? And then I've got a couple circles because, you know, compasses make circles, so everything here is a little circular. My superhero color gets the biggest spot here. That's Davies Gray. The Handmade notebook that I'm using is done with Fabriano cold press paper, so it has a little bit of texture on it. I believe it's just 140 pound. All right, I'm going to add some pure color up here. Let's just see if we can get really kind of dark. That's better. I'm going to splash, so I'm just dipping my fingers into my water and splashing. I like to see how the colors move. I'm going to do Shell Pink up here. Shell Pink has a little white in it, but that's okay. I use it mostly for muting my colors down. And you'll see later how beautiful it looks for creating grays. Add some water to my brush. Gonna splash that color as well. These bottom three I wanted to be the Da Vinci colors, so they're kind of together. I'm going to do Venetian Red. This color just looked lovely on their website. Oh, look at that. Think of a really rich red brick. That's what I think of with this color. Just water on my brush now. It's really pretty. Splashing. I'm going to do sea glass in the tiniest spot here. This color scares me. Look how intense it is. Oh my. If you like a bright turquoise blue, this is it for you. Ooh. Now I hear you asking me, Kelly, what did you buy that color for since you love muted colors? Well, I was hoping that it would be a nice color to add to my palette to kind of mute things down. We'll have to see how it works. I normally use Sleeping Beauty by Daniel Smith. And it's kind of a cobalty color like this, not this intense. But we'll see what happens. I've got a big puddle standing here. I'm just gonna move my brush around. Dab a little more paint in there. There we go. Gotta get some splashes on this guy. Flung water so hard it went over the edge. Okay, the next color is Artemis. Now Artemis is a color that separates, so it has a blue undertone, and it's probably my favorite purple. I even like this color better than Moonglow, Daniel Smith. When you're using a separating color or a granulating color, make sure to always use a lot of water. It gives it room to play and spread. Dipping into water. I'm going to splash that as well. You can see now that's quite a different palette. And I'm using these two colors to mute everything. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm not real sure. We have the compass here, and I'm trying to decide what color tag I want to do. I know that the compass I want to do with a Venetian red pencil, and we're going to create a gray, I believe with these two colors. We're going to try Davy's Gray and Artemis, but we're also going to try these two and see what gives us a better gray. So I think what I'm going to start with is just putting in the Venetian red pencil, because I already know what that is going to be. And I'm going to try to keep my hand out of that over there. Notice I said try. I'm going to make this like a colored pencil inside there instead of just a number 2 pencil. Because I want it to be a color pencil, I'm also going to do the lead. Same color as the pencil. You can see on my compass here that it has a little spot where the pencil shows through, and that's what these little dots are. I'm going to do the whole cover of the tag right there, the same Venetian red. I like to put the colors a couple places if I can. And I really like the tags where this is a dark red. So now I've got red in 2 places. So on this tag, I have a small circle here and a bigger circle here, and then I've got the tag. So let's see what kind of colors. I want to stay away from gray because this big compass is gray. So maybe we should try the grays first and see what we're going to use. So this is Davy's gray, and this is the shell pink. And you can see that's a really neutral gray. It's very pretty. So that's lovely. Now let's try Davy's gray and Artemis. Just a touch of Artemis. And look at this gray. So we've got a bluer gray and a pinker gray here. I think the blue will look nice with the red pencil. I think if I put this kind of gray with the red, it's going to seem too warm. So having this cooler color, cooler meaning more on the blue side, this means more on the pink side. So pink, think red, which means fire, which is a warm color. Think of blue, ice, that means a cooler color in temperature. So let's mix up a little bit of Artemis here and Davy's gray. And I need quite a bit of it. Remember, I'm doing the whole compass. Let's check my color here. I think I got too much purple. Yes. Whenever you're mixing colors too, especially a separating color like this Artemis, that's a beautiful color, you want to make sure every time you go into the puddle of paint here that you, I want to say shake it, you stir it. That way you're making sure that you're remixing the color because you don't want it separating. So I'm going to add a little bit more water because I know I want it watered down. I also have, can you see this little X here? I want to leave that white. I want it to look like there's string holding that onto the tag. Still a little too much color. I'm going to just water down a little bit here. And I'm hoping we get a little bit of granulation with the Artemis in there. That would be really, really nice for this, because we'll get a little separation of the blue and the purple. I'm going to dip some of that darker color right here along the edge. I'm using my smaller brush because I have a little more control with that. And since there's so many curves, I want to make sure that I keep them nice and clean. I know I want the string going around the nail to be pink. So I like the pink up there. Let's see what this pink and this sea glass does. Makes kind of an interesting color. Do you see that? Yeah, just a little more turquoise to it, or the sea glass, I mean. Look at that color. It's kind of a pretty color. And that's how I would use this color. I wouldn't use it full strength, but I definitely would mix it. I like the color that it gives me there. It's kind of a pretty color. So I think what I'm going to do with that is paint this little circle that color. I'm going to add just a little more sea glass. There we go. A little more water. I have that color on pretty thick. As you can see, there's really no life to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of water here, but then I'm going to blot with a paper towel. So I'm just going to lay it down, blot. That's better. So it was just too solid before. So just a little bit more color in there. There we go. See how it looks more lively now? I like that. Okay, so I'm looking at my tag here going, okay, what colors do I need to use? I think this big circle here is going to be pink so that the ribbon and that is pink. The shell pink. Trick is now keeping my hand out of it. I'm holding my breath. Sorry about that. I'm like trying to pay attention to my lines. Okay, let's see what color we can mix for this. And it might be that I use the Artemis. Let's see. Let's see what the Davy does. Makes kind of a nice blue-gray. I think that'll look nice around the Venetian. So the Venetian pencil there and the gray, I think it will really pop both of those up. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice. And yes, I should be using my bigger brush. You're correct. I really like the tone of that color. Isn't that pretty? So what we've got here is we've got really nice color combinations so far. This blue is really standing out by itself. And I want the tag back here to be kind of dark. I'm almost thinking Artemis. I want to mix these two, and I want to mix these two and see what happens with that. So let's go Artemis and sea glass. More Artemis because I want it more on the purple side. It almost makes like a midnight blue. Look at that. That's pretty. Okay, let's see what the Venetian red does with it. I kind of like the blue with it because you know why? It's going to make this piece stand in a little, fade into the background a little bit more. I heard you. Yes, I'm going to use my bigger brush this time. Thank you for the reminder. So let's go here with Artemis and sea glass. I'm hoping we still get some granulation and some separation in color. Wow, this is a pretty color. I think it will also pop off the compass, which is exactly what I want. I want that compass to just take front and center stage. I should have waited till this pink dries. I'll stay a little bit away from it. You can see it's a little brighter than that one, than the Artemis by itself. It's wanting to granulate, so I like that. Separate, I should say. Before that gets too dry, I got to come in with my finer brush, get around this little string that I've got, or thread. I'm loving that darkness. Look what it did to that, how it just popped it off the page. That's beautiful. I'm going to turn it to my side so I don't stick my hand in it. While I have this little brush out, I need to do all these little areas in between here. Okay, I need to mix up color, but I want you to see here on the palette, look how it's separated. Isn't that neat? And you can see in here it's starting to really separate too. I'm going to flip this upside down so that I can work on the rest of this. I always get so nervous. I concentrate too hard around this tag. I want you to see what that did to this compass. Didn't it just lift it up off the page? I really like that. We need to do the flesh color of the pencil, and I think I'm just going to do a little bit of this pink with the Venetian and then really water it down. So what bothers me right now is the brightness of this blue, and I know it's in there, but it's just so intense. So when that is dry, I'm going to do a wash of something over that to kind of tone it down, because I like it here against the colors, showing the colors, but I don't like it for just this picture. See how it kind of stands out without that color next to it? So I will tone that down. I want to add a couple shadows of the gray here, and remember that was Artemis. So I'm going to do just a darker mix. Gonna get my brush damp and just soften those edges just a little bit. Again, getting my brush wet. When you just dampen the edge, remember, so putting a hard line down and then putting water next to it, it kind of lets it relax a little bit and lets it smooth itself out. I call it just tickling the edge. Just go right next to the edge and get just a little bit of water on it. Now I do want to do something around these crosses. Remember, I want it to look like thread holding the compass in place. This shadow I want to stay sharp because I want the hole to look like it's recessed a little bit. Or not the hole, the screw part holding that. All right, I'm going to go under the string, creating a definite shadow. A little bit of water, damp brush. One more spot in here. Now for the pencil, what we're going to use is a flat brush and we're going to lift. And I know the Venetian here lifts really well. Look over here how much the water did. So I'm just dampening my brush. And I'm just flattening it with my fingers to keep that chisel edge. See how nice and straight that point is? So what I'm going to do is come in here and blot. I'm going to do the same through here. Blot. I'm going to do this one more time to get it nice and bright. I want you to see what that did. See how it lifted the color just enough to make it look like it's like the pencil has striations almost. And then we're going to come with just Venetian now. After that's dry just a little bit, and I'm going to run a line next to that. Really fine line of Venetian. See how that looks? That looks great. I really like the way that looks. So now for the shading on this pencil, the lead part, or the flesh part I should say. Got a little bit of Venetian out here. There we go. Okay, for the flesh part, I'm just going to take some of this gray that I already have on my palette. And then I'm going to tickle the edge. Where this pink ribbon goes behind the tag, I'm going to put a little shadow there as well. And up here where it goes around that nail or the tack. Okay, now this blue, we got to get rid of that. So let's put a little pink over it. Let's see what happens. I'm mixing pink and blue again just to make it like a little more gray, a lighter gray. Gonna add a little bit of water spots. It doesn't bother me that it's dark because really the focus is here on the compass itself. If you are here till the end, thank you so much for staying this long. I didn't mean for this project to be so complicated, but I love the way that it turned out. I'm going to bring you closer so you can see the colors. So this is the Mijello Shell Pink, the Holbein Davies Gray, the Da Vinci Phoenician Red, Da Vinci Sea Glass, and Da Vinci Artemis. Now, do you see the blues in there and a little bit of pinks? That's the color separation. And then here's a close-up on the compass. For the exact supplies that I've used, check the description, and thank you again for staying till the end. I really appreciate it. Happy painting!